listening to the EPT Works Listen, Love, Give podcast. Hi, I'm Dr. Annette Cargioli, the Forgiveness Doctor. I'm here to help you create phenomenal health, happiness, and new life with energy, intuition, and forgiveness. EPT is short for Emotional Polarity Technique, an innovative, holistic emotional therapy that will change your life for good. You can subscribe to this podcast, get free EPT training at eptworks.com, and like us on Facebook. One of the goals of EPT is to change uncomfortable emotional reactions in the body so you can feel better. Magnets, yes, that's what I said, magnets assist in making that possible by changing the electromagnetic and biochemical programming of an emotional event. Not only do you feel better, you open up the possibilities of rewriting your life script the way you would like to live it. In this podcast, you're going to learn where I learned about magnets for healing the body, what effect the North and South Pole magnetic energies have on living tissue, why magnets in energy healing is not only helpful to the person being healed, but also helpful for the healer. Finally, I'm going to give you some specific ways that you can use magnetic energy as your own energy replacement therapy. I'll also include information about where you can buy a set of magnets to use for yourself. When I first learned about magnets, I wanted to run. Magnets? That was way back in 1984. I had just graduated from chiropractic college, and the idea of using magnets to help with pain or healing was just a little far out there for me. And really, it was a little far out there for most people at that time. It was a good 10 years later before I heard of the network market, Nikon, that successfully marketed magnets and magnet mattress pads for pain relief and body rejuvenation, among other things. At my first magnet seminar, I asked myself, were these two really serious? Before I ever learned to use muscle testing, I took a training from Doctors Richard and Mary Broingmeyer. These two had a successful holistic clinic in Paducah, Kentucky, way before it had become as fashionable as it is now. People traveled from all over the country to spend a week or two at the Broingmeyer's clinic to be healed. In addition to their clinic, the Broingmeyers also did research with magnet diagnostics and magnet healing. They taught me about the effects of magnets on living tissue and how to use magnetic energy, North and South Pole, to do magnetic energy replacement therapy. The Broingmeyers were pioneering the field of magnetic diagnostics and healing way back in the 1970s. Much of their work was based on previous scientific research documented in the 1940s and 50s by Albert Roy Davis and Walter C. Rawls Jr. Davis and Rawls published a few books heralding their magnetic research. And here's the names of those books: The Magnetic Blueprint of Life, The Rainbow in Your Hands, The Magnetic Effect, and Magnetism and Its Effect on the Living System. At the first biomagnetics training, Dr. Richard Broingmeyer demonstrated the body's responsiveness to magnetic energy. He also reinforced basic scientific concepts about how cells operate through magnetism of positive and negative ions. You saw that in science class when you looked at cellular anatomy and saw the little potassium K plus or sodium Na minus, I think. Anyway, those minuses and pluses are the electromagnetic charge that's in the body and represented in our basic biology and chemistry text. Magnetic energy affects the pH, also known as the potential hydrogen of the cell. The hydrogen ion is charged positive, the little plus sign. When you put the South Pole energy over the body, You increase the hydrogen ion concentration and decrease oxygen ion concentration. When you put the North Pole energy over the body, you decrease the hydrogen ion concentration and increase oxygen ion concentration. Just like a North Pole magnet will repel another North Pole magnet, yet attract a South Pole magnet, the positive and negative charged ions in the body's cells repel and attract each other based on magnetic frequency. The Bronmeyers taught that by using magnetic energy, actual rare earth magnets, you can change the body's physiology and actually improve health. Since the body's natural electrical energy is magnetic in nature, rare earth magnets can change the biochemistry and the pH. Over the 20 plus years I have been using magnets and healing the body, I have been awed by the usefulness of this simple, natural energy, as well as its power to redirect electromagnetic as well as biochemical energy in the body, resulting in improved body function and overall better health. Magnetic energy is the highest frequency energy on Earth. Rare earth magnets have measurably different strengths. Although all living organisms hold magnetic energy, the magnetic energy existing in the human body is much lower frequency than the frequency of a rare earth magnet. Because of this difference in magnetic frequency, a rare earth magnet of higher strength can interrupt or interfere with the body's current molecular magnetic frequency, influencing tissue pH, oxygen levels, pain, and other microscopic reactions. In their research, Rawls and Davis discovered the specific tissue and organ reactions to magnetic energy. North Pole energy affects living tissue by vasoconstriction, increased alkalinity, acting to sedate or inhibit pain, decreasing cellular activity, increasing potassium ions, decreasing calcium ions, and increasing oxygen. South Pole energy affects living tissue by vasodilation, increased acidity. It stimulates activity in tissue, increases activity in tissue, increases sodium, and decreases oxygen. You wouldn't want to put a South Pole energy magnet over a known malignant tumor because it will activate and stimulate that malignancy to grow faster. Just so you know, a little practical application of what this is talking about. Emotional polarity technique uses muscle testing to determine whether North or South Pole energy is strengthening for the body. We're actually looking for the magnetic energy when placed over the body that causes a strong muscle, not a weak one. Two 2x6-inch magnet pads, each containing 14 neodymium disc magnets. These are some of the highest frequency magnets that are out there, are utilized in the EPT body and energy field correction procedure. The magnet pads are colored green on the side, emitting North Pole energy, negative, and red on the side, emitting South Pole energy, positive. In step 3, fix it, our basic EPT correction procedure, we always briefly place one magnet pad over an organ or body area and one magnet pad over the forehead, also referred to as emotional points in EPT, and based on Chinese meridians. This magnet placement on the body is accompanied by breathing and simple body work, gently squeezing the head together on inhalation to balance the right and left hemispheres of the brain. This strategic body placement of magnets actually creates a strong interrupting electromagnetic connection from the brain to the body organ. I like to think of it as raising the frequency of the electromagnetic current already existing between the brain and the body. Remember, the strength of the magnet is much higher than the strength of the electromagnetic energy of the body. The magnet with the higher frequency will automatically influence the magnet of the lower strength, causing it to move in the direction of the higher strength magnetic energy. The Broing-Myers tested body organs with magnets. Based on known tissue reactions to north and south pole energies, they could determine your symptoms or disease state by determining the magnetic energy, north or south pole of each organ. This was usually determined by the use of a magnet and a leg length test. The person being tested would lie on their back with the practitioner at his feet. The practitioner would balance the feet so the heels were even. A magnet would then be placed over an organ, such as the liver, one leg appearing to shorten, the heels becoming even, would indicate the body pulling away from the magnetic energy that has been placed over the liver, just like two magnets of the same side opposing each other. Opposite magnetic energy attracts, and like magnetic energy repels. So what I'm saying here is when you put the north and the south near each other, they are attracted to each other and they stick together. When you put like magnetic energy, two North Pole magnets will repel each other. You can't get them to stick together, and you can feel that energy. If the body pulls away from a North Pole magnet placed over the liver, it would indicate the liver is also resonating more in North Pole energy because it's being repelled like and like. If the liver or an organ is balanced and healthy, it won't react to the brief placement of a magnet. So no reaction will occur if it's a vibrating tissue that is very healthy, but just briefly placing a magnet on it isn't going to cause a weakness. If a magnet is held over healthy or unhealthy tissue for extended amounts of time, that magnet will change the polarity of the tissue for better or worse. So you can hurt someone or cause a problem in the body by putting the wrong magnetic energy over tissue if you leave it there long enough, and that would be extended periods of time, and it's not what the body needed, it will still change the tissue for better or for worse. So ideally, you want to know what you're doing with magnets so that if you're going to use a magnet as therapy for an extended period of time, you're going to put what will actually benefit the tissue and not something that will be unbeneficial. There are some magnet precautions you need to be aware of before using magnets. 1, do not use magnets with anyone with a pacemaker. Pacemakers are actually set with magnetic charges, and you just don't want to put that big magnet or wave it around a pacemaker in the event that it could cause a problem. I use, when I'm doing EPT and I have someone with a pacemaker, I use hands instead of a magnet because that's what I have to do. Number 2, keep magnets clear of electronic devices and credit cards because it will wipe them out. And number 3, keep magnets clear of computers or handheld computer devices because it will mess them up. Now, I have seen some people who can do some great hands-on healing. And some people can, well, I'm one of those people who can sometimes mess up a computer by being around it. And I'm not sure how that works, but it's not anything I can measure or control. But I'm going to tell you what, magnets, if you put them around an electronic device, the energy of that magnet will mess with that electronic device. It is a measurable, natural energy force that is consistent, that has, unlike Reiki, that's going to change from one person to another, or someone who's using healing touch, where you may be able to measure that, or even Qigong. those people are going to have to use a lot of intention, and they really have to pull out the energy to blow out a computer or an electronic device. Now, I'm not saying there's not people who can do that. I'm saying it's a rare feat. But it's not rare that a magnet will do that. You can count on a magnet doing it 100% of the time. So one of the most useful ways to use magnetic energy is with acute and chronic pain. And that's why Nikon, the network market that marketed all kinds, all manner of magnets for pain devices, why they were popular, because they had a magnetic device that worked on pain, and it was a magnet. Now, you always start with North Pole over the pain, and pretty much you can't go wrong with North Pole in most situations. You can use it as an energy therapy device, 30 minutes twice a day, or you could actually just wrap that North Pole magnet on over the pain for hours at a time until you get sufficient pain relief. Now, my dad in his 50s fell down a flight of basement stairs and broke both his elbows, had to have extensive surgery, and was in 2 casts. And he had a lot of pain. And he didn't want to take pain medication. Well, he used magnets. He had the magnets wrapped around, he wrapped them onto his cast, and he used them, and he didn't get sufficient pain relief, but he could take a lesser amount of the drug and use the magnet, and he got complete pain relief. Now, he was using them for pain relief, but when he went in at his 4-week appointment to see where he was at in his bone healing, he had already completely healed both elbows. And the surgeon was kind of blown away by this, because it was supposed to take 8 weeks and he did it in 4. And he wanted to know if he was taking a vitamin, what he was doing. And my dad was like, well, I used magnets. And the surgeon immediately recognized that as a legit therapeutic device to help bone mending, because bone mending, again, is a known magnetic feature or event in the body. So that was something that we realized, wow, magnets will heal a broken bone in about half the time. Now, in my experience, I've had a couple people come into my office who were months and months after a broken bone and had still not healed. One lady came in and they had her rigged with an electromagnetic device that was very expensive. She still wasn't healing after 2 months. And I told her, well, I would just put this North Pole magnet on it. It was her foot, which didn't make it any better because she had to get around. It was healed in 4 weeks. So no matter what you might do for a broken bone, magnets will actually do tremendous speed up on the healing of broken bones in a healthy way. So chronic pain can disappear in a day or a month. It's going to depend on the person. What I have experienced with people who have chronic pain, and I've used magnets on chronic pain, it seems like sometimes you have the magnet on and you just feel foolish because you're thinking, is it doing anything? If you're wondering if it's doing anything, go stick it on a fridge. There's energy coming off the magnet. It's a legitimate expression of natural energy that's measurable. So you'll have it on and you wonder, is it doing anything? And then my experience has been when that tissue switches or loads up in the change and has that pH change solidly from you using the magnet, it's like the pain just disappears and it doesn't come back. So magnets are amazing for pain. Sometimes your pain can increase while you're using North Pole magnet. It can be in some chronic events, and I'll let you know what those are, the most common ones. But if it increases when you're using it over an acute injury or even a chronic one, the first thing people think is, now my pain got worse, I shouldn't use this magnet. No, what you need to do is turn the magnet over to the South Pole side. And the person will notice that once you turn it over, the pain starts to subside again. And it will start to feel better, but then it will increase again. And all you have to do is turn the magnet over again, because what this tissue is calling for is a vasoconstriction and a vasodilation and an oxygen and less oxygen. So it's kind of a pumping the tissue, but the level of pain increasing basically directs you in what you do with the magnet. You just turn it over. And I have people who don't know how to muscle test. And so I have to tell them, you're going to use this magnet. When it starts hurting, turn the magnet over. If it starts hurting again, turn the magnet over again. And they figure it out. Now, if you're a muscle tester, you can kind of, you can muscle test to see which side of the magnet's going to be strong and beneficial and which side is not going to be beneficial. So the side that's not going to be beneficial is going to make your body weak, muscle weak. The side that will be beneficial will be strengthening. The muscle will be test strong when you put that magnet over. So some pain conditions, as I said, need this combination of North and South Pole energy. An increase in pain is the indicator to switch the magnetic pole by simply turning the magnet over. It's that simple. And then there's a couple conditions that benefit from the combination of North and South Pole magnet therapy. And the two that I think of that are the most common is rheumatoid arthritis. So people with that really horrible rheumatoid, knees or hands, magnets are incredible. And then the other one I thought of was menstrual cramps. So I will generally tell someone with menstrual cramps, put North Pole on first, but it is very common that it will subside and then get worse, and you just turn it over to the red side or the South Pole. And then when that subsides and gets worse, you turn it back. So menstrual cramps, magnets are fantastic. Any abnormal growths in or on the body, such as warts or tumors, will benefit from North Pole energy. You can actually find online, and I've used smaller, tiny magnets to use on warts, or I've even gotten rid of moles using magnets. And I have also seen people who got rid of tumors, even malignancies, using a magnet. Now, I'll tell you, I had a guy who came in and he had a month or 2 months to live with pancreatic cancer. And he had incredible pain, even on the pain meds. And all he wanted was something to relieve pain. I sent him away with a North Pole magnet. And 2 months later, he died. Well, he wasn't trying to live. And his wife called to let us know that he had passed away. And she said he was able to be pain-free for the last 2 months of his life because of the magnet. So in that case, it was kind of an amazing gift. Another one of my uses of magnets. So think about abnormal growths, always North Pole. Another thing that I had somebody do that was really unusual, I had a lady who had had cancer, rectal cancer. She was 28, and they had done radiation like crazy in that whole perineum area where she sits. And as a result, it had damaged tissue, I guess fried the tissue. And so now sex was very painful for her. And she was a young woman, and this was really a devastating thing. And I just suggested that there was probably scarring of that tissue because of the irradiation. And I had her sit on a North Pole magnet on the way to work in her car and on the way home. And within a week, she no longer had the issue with painful sex. And I was just kind of blown away. It actually softened her scar tissue. It also removes trauma in the energy field. And she was able to do that easy. Nobody had helped her up until that point. I mean, what would you have done? I mean, what do you do? You've got to change tissue in that particular case. So North Pole energy will slow growth and increase oxygen to the tissue, helping the healing of the tissue. Inflammation in the body will always benefit from North Pole energy as well. Pretty much if you've got pain, you've got inflammation. But some people have inflammation, like for example, they have a heart issue where they've got congestive heart, and the heart is very inflamed, and they have issues with that particular organ. And actually you can use North Pole energy over an inflamed heart, and it also will do wonders. And I actually believe that you're doing a lot more than just affecting that body tissue, because a magnetic energy field, it is way deeper. There's like 2 feet of energy that is intense that you can measure off of a magnet with a magnetic field detector. That's on either side. So you've got your own physical energy field that also extends outside your body. And this magnet is affecting the entire thing, right through your body and also outside of your body, because there's a north and south pole. There's a lot going on. I still feel like there's a lot that's going to happen with magnets in the energy field. We haven't begun to really see that grow yet. Insomnia can be helped by using a North Pole magnet facing toward your head. I prefer the heavier brick type magnet to be placed under your pillow because it'll lay there. It won't move around like the flat ones that we use in EPT. Some cases of insomnia don't respond so well with the magnet under the pillow, but what I have found is that they have a congested liver and you can put a North Pole magnet over the liver. And in the middle of the night, I'll tell them, you can't get back to sleep. You wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, pick up your magnet, put the North Pole over your liver, against your liver, and they will find that they're laying there thinking, this isn't going to work. The next thing they know, it's morning. So it does relax the liver, and it seems to be a pivotal kind of breaker switch that helps people with insomnia. An EPT practitioner can perform a body scan with magnets to determine where you need to use magnetic energies to support your entire physical system. EPT practitioners can also use magnets to identify and release unresolved emotional energy that no longer serves your body, your health, or your life. In my book, The Forgiveness Doctor, I explain exactly how to use magnets to release the resistance in the body that prevents you from creating new life with forgiveness. Check it out at theforgivenessdoctor.com. I was a young woman struggling with extra weight when I was tested with magnets by Dr. Broingmeyer. My thyroid tested as having slow or sluggish energy because it reacted to the North Pole magnet. To balance my thyroid, I used South Pole energy replacement therapy over my thyroid every night for a few hours. I was determined to change my thyroid if possible because I knew that a slow thyroid could make it difficult for me to lose weight. I wanted to be one of those people who didn't ever have a weight problem. About a month after using the South Pole energy over my thyroid to speed it up, a very odd thing occurred. I was working a commercial shoot. My job was to face the camera and snap the flash picture. The director would say, action, and I'd start my routine, and when I raised the camera to take the picture, the flash would go off as it passed my throat area. I couldn't get that flash to go off when I pushed the button to save my life. I must have tried to get this flash to work right at least 5 or 6 times. I'd raise it up and try to push the button and the flash wouldn't go off. As I came down, it would go off at my thyroid or my neck. It just kept going off automatically as I passed the camera in front of my throat area. The director got frustrated with me because when he tried the flash, it worked for him. A crew member tried the flash and it worked for him. Finally, they went and got another camera and the same thing happened to me all over again. The crew member studied my neck and noticed a necklace. He asked me, "Is there any chance your necklace is a magnet?" Immediately, I had a memory flash of all the nights I sat watching TV, eating popcorn with that South Pole magnet over my thyroid, determined never to be fat again. That's when it clicked for me. My necklace was not the magnet. My thyroid was. Of course, I didn't tell them that. I shrugged my shoulders and looked as bewildered as everyone else. They ended up completely removing the flash from the camera for my shoot. I decided that since that magnet had charged my thyroid enough to set off a camera flash, maybe I wouldn't need it anymore. Besides realizing the power of living tissue to take on magnetic energy, I never did get fat, nor have I had the problem with weight again. If you're interested in buying a medical magnet, you can call my office, 317-585-9410. You can buy a magnet pad with 14 neodymium discs inset or a rare earth brick type magnet encased in a molded case and labeled N for North Pole and S for South Pole. They cost $50 each. Emotional polarity technique is an innovative, holistic emotional therapy, and we use magnets. We use them as bioenergetic assistant to the emotional healing release invoked in your inner world of thoughts, beliefs, experiences, and ideas. Magnets can be an extraordinary resource in the world of energy medicine. They provide a measurable, tangible, energetic force that serves to speed up the energetic changes you seek in energy healing. Magnets also serve as a pattern interrupter to unhealthy energetic patterns in living tissue. Magnets also provide a measurable natural energy device that can ease tissue disease and trauma. Finally, magnets act as a natural energy source that supports both the holistic client and the holistic practitioner during energy healing sessions. If you have chronic pain or suffering in your life, an EPT practitioner can help you to transform your inner world with energy, intuition, and forgiveness. You will experience tangible healing in your first session. 7 sessions will change your life. May you feel the freedom to believe healing is really possible for your life, no matter how crazy it might look. May you let go of the beliefs that keep you loyal to suffering and pain in your life. May you be blessed in ways you never thought possible. Thanks for listening. As always, you can subscribe to this podcast, like us on Facebook, and go get your free training at eptworks.com. I'm Dr. Annette Cargioli, the Forgiveness Doctor. Until next time, listen, love, give. EPT works.